Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
The Prime Minister summoned Junkanoo leaders to his office to discuss what went wrong during the Boxing Day parade.
China Construction America sued by the Baha Mar Resort's original developer. Find out what's in that 268-page court filing.
Our news is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Topping news tonight, despite the disappointment surrounding the 2017 Boxing Day Junkanoo Parade, leaders of the various Junkanoo groups and their many fans were only focused on the results this evening. The winners of last night's parade were announced on Arawak Key just moments ago.
2017 Boxing Day. First of all, I'd like to announce that Music Makers was disqualified. In fifth position, with 80.05, with a penalty score of 3.00, Genesis. In fourth position, with a score of 83.47, the Valley Boys. In third position, with a score of 86.92, with a penalty score of 2.50, Success. In second position, with a score of 87.80, One Family. I'm your winner of the 2017 Boxing Day Parade, Roots 90.15. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Well, leaders of the Junkanoo Committee of New Providence were summoned to the office of the Prime Minister this morning for a meeting with Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis. Moments after that meeting ended, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture Michael Pintard revealed that Minnis was pained by the Boxing Day delay. Pintard says he also cautioned that if the parade is to become an international event, it should not be postponed for anything short of a natural disaster. Jasmine Brown reports.
During that nearly hour-long meeting, the Prime Minister described his Junkanoo experience as painful, as he also stressed what needs to happen moving forward.
The Prime Minister wanted to express the great pain and disappointment he experienced as a result of the postponement.
The parade was postponed from Christmas night to 6 p.m. Boxing Day after Junkanoo groups voted to postpone it even after the Department of Meteorologists gave the all-clear. Pintard said while the PM expressed his disappointment, he also affirmed that his administration wants to see Junkanoo become an international event. But in order for that to happen, higher standards must be met and adhered to, including fixed dates and times that are only cancelled or postponed only if there is a major disaster.
Which means the parade has to be predictable, that something tremendously unusual has to happen for the parade not to go on when scheduled. So in a nutshell, that's essentially what he wanted to express, that it was a very difficult experience for him as a result of the postponement.
Jcnp Chairman Silbert Ferguson called this morning's meeting unusual but productive.
We do have set times and set dates now. The only challenge that we have is our rules dictate that if we have any kind of inclement weather, that we have a policy that we refer to. Okay, but we will take the Prime Minister up on the challenge and we will work hand in hand with the government moving forward.
As a result of the postponement, Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean came under fire. While Dean has since said he is unbothered by the criticism, Ferguson came to his defense, insisting it's not the weatherman's fault.
Basil should not get any criticism, and I'm truly sick of it. Okay, Basil is a professional. Basil gave his professional opinion based on what he saw on the models that we read every day in this country. So in the best interest of everybody, We moved the parades to 6 p.m. last evening. And if anybody wants to take responsibility, I'll take full responsibility. Okay, because as the chairman of the organization, the buck stops with me.
With the Boxing Day drama behind them, Ferguson said the groups are fired up and ready to go for the New Year's Day parade. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, despite the social media storm that followed the decision to push back the parade, April Sands tells us Junkanoo fans weren't left disappointed.
Well, despite the major delay, as the saying goes, the show must go on.
Starting off with a bang, the Valley Boys taking you back in time through ancient Egypt, Greece, and Rome. Their theme exploring ancient civilizations. Their frontline dancers portraying Pharaoh's voyage, Eskimos, and the mystique of Babylon. Last night's parade followed a decision made by Junkanoo leaders to have the parade postponed in anticipation of bad weather. However, the backlash was immediate after New Providence failed to experience even a drop of rain. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Michael Pintard, says it was a decision unanimously made by Junkanoo leaders. He urged the public, though, to give Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean a break.
The Junkanoo leaders made a decision. While I would have preferred that the parade occurred on Boxing Day, I respect their decision. Again, all of our stakeholders are important, not just the Junkanoos. However, given the level of sacrifice that they continue to make, time, resources, you have to give weight to their decisions.
Pintard says the leaders made a decision based on what they felt was best, voting on 2 different occasions to push the parade, traditionally held on Boxing Day morning, to Tuesday evening.
Bahamians trade out persons who they like to poke fun at or attempt through social media to take advantage of. We have to discontinue doing that without knowing fully all of the facts. Basil is a Bahamian professional. We ought to respect our Bahamian professionals, reserve our opinion until we understand all of the details.
But the unnecessary postponement wasn't the only issue that left Junkanoo fans fuming. After the Valley Boys made their way past Rawson Square, Minister of Education Jeff Lloyd expressed his frustration with the huge gap between the Valley Boys and the next Junkanoo group.
And I'm not quite happy about this delay that we see here now so far. The Valley is gone now. It's been gone approximately 15 minutes. You know, if I was operating this parade with Brendan Watson and the Brendan folks in our team, you know, we was going to be tolerating this. And this is not what our people are paying for. Okay, but anyhow. So no, I'm pulling for an excellent parade. I think as the Prime Minister says, the premier cultural expression, it should be excellent. We've been at this for 60 plus years. This is nothing new to us. We know what we need to do.
Despite these problems, the show went on. Pushing politics aside for the night, Minister of Health Dr. Dwayne Sands showing his love for the Valley Boys.
We just saw the world famous Valley Boys go by. It's over. Ain't no point staying out here tonight. You know, and I don't have no problem. I try to get people to eat healthy, and I'm not about this candy cane stuff, okay? So the Saxons may as well stay home tonight.
Following them was the Roots Junkanoo group with a little one-on-one lesson in culture, carrying the theme Educate My Bahamas, the mysteries and histories of the 700 islands. Their choreography depicting the gems of blue water and their brass showing off warriors of Bahamian heritage. Then there was the Saxons, who left you indulging in Candyland with a sweet tooth. Under the theme, indulge in the sweets and treats. Larger-than-life iconic candy pieces like M&M's, Lifesavers, and Butterfingers. One family followed, displaying a little of Brazil under the theme Brazil, the Gem of South America. Reporting for our news, I'm April Sands.
Police are searching for 2 gunmen who allegedly barged into a home on 6th Street, The Grove this afternoon and opened fire on a man before fleeing the scene in a Honda.
Shortly after 3 p.m., a man was in his home along with other family members when 2 men entered the house, shot him about the body before fleeing. in a Honda vehicle. This man has been confirmed deceased here on the scene.
Police press liaison officer Shanton Knowles says the man was at home with family when he was murdered.
However, we are appealing to the public, especially those in this community who may have information that could help us to solve this matter, to give us a call at our Crime Stoppers line, which is 328-TIPS.
This is the 5th murder for the month. The murder count for the year now stands at 123. There were 111 murders last year. Knowles says no one else in the home was injured, and officers are speaking with residents of the area in hopes of gathering more information. Employees of Domino's Pizza and Dairy Queen in the Harbor Bay Shopping Center still shaken tonight after the fast food chain was robbed this afternoon. Frightened staff members declined on-camera interviews but told our news that 2 masked men stormed into the store after 12 p.m. and robbed Domino's. The men also attempted to rob Dairy Queen, according to staff, but we're told those employees locked themselves in a back section of the store and gunmen were not able to access them. Staffers say police responded immediately after receiving the frantic call, and the Harbor Bay location was closed as officers conducted their preliminary investigation. In other news, the former developer of Baha Mar Resort is suing the resort's contractor of record, China Construction America. BML Properties Limited has accused the firm of fraud. Jared Higgs reports.
While most Bahamians were enjoying Boxing Day festivities, BML Properties Limited was filing a lawsuit in New York against China Construction America, accusing the contractor of perpetrating the largest construction-based fraud in this hemisphere. The lawsuit alleges that CCA, the contractor responsible for the Baha Mar Resort's construction, falsely created the appearance that it was working toward an on-time and on-budget opening in December 2014, while knowingly and fraudulently concealing its real intent not to construct the project on time, on budget, and in the process extort more money than it earned and was due. According to the 268-page document, CCA also knowingly and fraudulently intended to use the project as a massive training exercise for its young and inexperienced cadre of workers, which doomed the project to failure. BML claims in the court filing that the defendants' breaches of contracts and malicious and intentional acts of deceit in utter disregard for the interests of BML Properties resulted in the severe liquidity crunch of March through June 2015, the bankruptcy filing of Baha Mar Limited, and the loss of BML Properties' entire equity stake in Baha Mar Limited and its valuable interest in the future of the resort. BML Properties, owned by Sarkis's Marillion, claims it lost its entire $845 million equity investment in the project, while also incurring hundreds of millions of dollars in losses, and its right to all the future benefits of running a world-class multi-billion-dollar resort. BML is suing for more than $2.25 billion in damages.
The 268-page court document filed in the New York State Supreme Court portrays CCA as a company that intentionally caused the failure of the Baha Mar project through a wide range of questionable dealings. And some of those alleged dealings include destruction of property and focusing on a competing project at the expense of the mega resort's planned completion dates.
The court documents list 15 causes of action against the defendants, including fraud in connection with the convention center, fraud with on-site workforce and workforce purportedly scheduled to arrive, and fraud through the diversion of senior management and equipment to other projects. BML says the agreement between them and CCA stipulates New York as a jurisdiction, venue, and choice of law. The Baha Mar Resort opened in April of this year after several delayed openings. The sale of the resort to the Hong Kong-based Chow Tai Fook Enterprises was completed earlier this month. Most of the resort is now open, with the Rosewood Hotel slated to open next spring. Previously promising to grow the economy by 12%, Baha Mar is expected to employ 4,000 staff, mostly Bahamian, before the end of the year. Reporting for our News, I am Jared Higgs.
Still to come on our news, the DPM calls the Grand Lucayan LOI signing a significant move. Plus, the PLP leader calls for a discussion on marital law. That's coming up when our news returns.